Hi, Dr. Reagan Robertson, CCO of Productive Dentist Academy here, and I have a question for you. Are you finding it hard to get your team aligned to your vision, but you know you deserve growth just like everybody else? That's why we've created the PDA Productivity Workshop. For nearly 20 years, PDA workshops have helped dentists just like you align their teams, get control of scheduling, and create productive practices that they love walking into every day. Just imagine how you will feel when you know your schedule is productive, your systems are humming, and your team is aligned to your vision. It's simple, but it's not necessarily easy. We can help. Visit productivedentist.com/workshop. That's productivedentist.com/workshop to secure your seats now.
Why didn't I finish that? I don't know. I just got busy on another project. Are you getting busy on other projects? Stuff that really isn't going to matter? Now, sometimes I'll do things that are just fun stuff. Like I'll go out and play golf and go do other things. And that sets a priority. Spending time with my grandkids, spending time with my kids. Those take priority over, me completing some of my thoughts and ideas.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Bruce B. Baird, and you're listening to the Productive Dentist Podcast. In this podcast, I will give you everything that I've learned over the last 40 years in dentistry, working with thousands of dentists. I'll tell you, it's not that my way is the only way. It's just one that has worked extremely well for me, and I'd love to share that with you so you too can enjoy the choices and lifestyle that productivity allows. More time for things you love, increased pay, better team relationships, and lowered stress. Let's get into it with this week's episode of the Productive Dentist Podcast.
Hi, this is Dr. Bruce Baird with the Productive Dentist Podcast. And hopefully you guys are having a good summer. And I've been on the road for the last few weeks, but something came up in my travels that kind of hit me between the eyes. And it's the word procrastination. Any of you guys ever procrastinate? I think Imtiaz Manji used to call it yeah buts. Do you want to go to the beach? Yeah, but I'd like to, but I have something to do. Or I'd like to do my evaluations of my employees, but I've got something going on right now. Or I've always wanted to take a course on implants, but I'm just happy where I'm at. And sometimes, I tell my wife that, I think I'm lazy. And she says, you're the least lazy person I know. And I think that people with ADD or ADHD, when they're not going crazy, they feel like they're not doing anything. And I read an article that Leonardo da Vinci apparently had ADD and ADHD. He had over 7,000 pages written in his notepads or his notes, and thousands of inventions that he never completed. Where are most of the ideas in the world? Well, they're in the cemetery, because people get these great ideas, but then we don't do things with them. Now, I've been fortunate, having ADD, that I've also learned to hyper-focus somewhat, but that still doesn't release me from suffering from but I have to do this, or just procrastination. And, we've started multiple companies, and I look back and I go, well, why didn't I ever pursue this? Or why did I never pursue that? Great ideas, but things that didn't go forward. Compassionate finance was one. And yes, we were able to get it where we wanted it to go. And it's helped millions of patients, and thousands of dental offices. But what about the other ideas? What about the other things that are out there? Do you have any of those? Have you been thinking about any of those? Is this is there something that you've wanted to accomplish, but just haven't done yet? And I've kind of reset myself to after reading and thinking and looking at all these different things that I haven't completed. My golf glove dryer. I know that sounds crazy, but it's all designed. I already have it completely drawn up and everything else. I just never took it to manufacturing and marketing. It actually hooks onto your golf bag. You just attach your glove to it, hit a button, and it dries your glove out. Now, that's not a problem if you're in Cabo where it's dry, but it's a real problem if you're in Texas or anywhere really across the country right now because of just humidity. You go through 3 to 5 golf gloves and every time you're out playing, whereas this, you could have a couple of gloves that you keep and, they're going to stay dry. They're not going to mildew and tear up. So why didn't I finish that? I don't know. I just got busy on another project. Are you getting busy on other projects? Stuff that really isn't going to matter. Now, sometimes I'll do things that are just fun stuff. Like I'll go out and play golf and go do other things. And that sets a priority. Spending time with my grandkids, spending time with my kids, those take priority over, me completing some of my thoughts and ideas. But I will tell you that I've had multiple opportunities to finish the golf glove dryer. I've had multiple opportunities to finish other projects that I have going on. Same day smile centers. We're working on it, but it just seems to take forever. And it's because I'm not committed, and what I'm going to say on this podcast is, figure out the things that you want to do. And I will worry about procrastinating. Isn't that crazy? It's something that, oh gosh, I really need to get that done. And I'm worrying about something that I created so that I could worry. They say the average person worries 7.5 years of their average lifespan. Now, why are we worrying? What I would say is most of the time when we're worrying about something, it's in our mind. You ever wake up in the middle of the night and you're going, oh man, I got to do this or I got to do that. And you're thinking to yourself, and then you can't sleep or I got to call this, I got to do this or I got to do that. But yet when we wake up, we don't do it. And then the next week we have that same issue. I was listening to a sermon at our church and this past weekend, and they were talking about changing the channel. In other words, if your channel is a channel of worry and you keep thinking about, gosh, I need to work on all of the things that are going on at the office. I need to work on those things. And then you don't do it, or you're just worrying about it all the time. Change the channel to saying, I'm going to complete this by this amount of time. I'm going to give myself 2 weeks. I am going to initially start immediately and begin to put the ball in motion. And I think that that's important. You have to put the ball in motion. You have to start the process. And then, once you start the process, you have a much better chance of finishing whatever it is you're trying to do. I know, in the office, we want to look around and from the patient's perspective, what does the office look like? We think about it, but we rarely ever do it, and let's go through and look at the outside, look at the shrubs, look at the front door, look at those things. Do we do that? Well, we think about it, but are we actually doing it? Do we ever look at our procedure mix? Do we ever think that we're going to plan this year out better than ever? And I'm going to look at every procedure that I did over the last year, and how does that compare to the year before? Yep, I want to do that. Yeah, but I've got so much stuff going on right now. We're busy. We're busier than we've ever been. I don't have time to do those things. But then again, do we have time not to do those things? Yeah, I'll find ways to procrastinate and think about things I need to do all day long. And, after listening to that sermon and them talking about, gosh, we waste 7 years worrying. I'm going to change my channel. I'm going to start thinking about things and say, I'm going to compartmentalize. I'm going to say, this is an idea that I'm going to put over here to the left. It's going to be a potential someday deal that I want to do. It's not that I need to do it. It's not that, I'm going to worry because I haven't done it. But then I'll evaluate those things and start, working on it. I can say that about my golf game. I really want to play better. Yeah, but, I don't really want to go out and hit balls when it's hot. I really want to be better. I want to spend more time with my grandkids. Yeah, but golly, it's hot out there by the pool and they scream real loud and they're making all this noise. And, do I really want to? Yeah. When I think back in my life, I think about times with my grandparents, the times that I have, and I think back to those very fondly. I want to make sure my grandkids look back that same way. And so whether it's your practice, whether it's your your imagination on how, what things that you think you could make the world better. I look at somebody like an Elon Musk and I think that guy must never procrastinate. He just gets so much done. The Jeff Bezos of the world, they just made it happen. But, I think Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk probably have hundreds of ideas. Certainly in the case of Elon Musk, hundreds or thousands of ideas that he wants to do. And that has to be frustrating. I don't know exactly how he gets around it by continually working. I know he sleeps on the floor. I don't really want to do that. He sleeps on the floor at SpaceX. He's doing all these things. But from my perspective, I want to live the good life. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to do all those things. And in order to do those, I want to make sure my business is run at the highest level, that, I'm able to enjoy family and friends and specifically say, I want to go do something with somebody. We procrastinate about going out with friends. We procrastinate about going out to dinner. I've been wanting to call Randy, but I just, he and his wife, we had so much fun last time we went out, but that's been 9 months. And let's go do that. And let's make a plan. I've been sitting there thinking, I've got to get a dermatologist. My sister was a dermatologist for 40 years, and she always was checking me and burning places on me. And then I haven't done anything in 4 years because I just haven't found anybody, and I'm procrastinating. That can be life-threatening. So I guess the whole point of this podcast today is, what things are you procrastinating? What are the things that your life would be better if you didn't worry about it? Your life would be better, and your family's life would be better if you weren't procrastinating. So these are the things that I've been thinking about this last couple of weeks. I've been on vacation with a bunch of grandkids, and I've been from the West Coast to the East Coast, and then back to the West Coast and then back home over the last 3 weeks. But I've been able to sit and relax and think about what are the things I want to have happen over the next 10 years, over the next year, even more importantly, this week and next week. What are the things that I'm going to do to make my life better, to make my kids' life better, my wife's life better, across the board? And just think about it. If it's something that you suffer with, send me some questions. I'll be more than happy to tell you how I've been able to build multiple businesses, but there's so many more things that I want to do. How about you? All right. Good talking to you guys this week, and I look forward to next week's podcast. Tell your friends about us, and we hope to see you next week.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Productive Dentist Podcast. If you found this episode helpful, make sure you subscribe. Pass it along to a friend. Give us a like on iTunes and Spotify, or drop me an email at podcast@productivedentist.com. Don't forget to check out other podcasts from the Productive Dentist Academy at productivedentistpodcast.com. Join me again next week for another episode of the Productive Dentist Podcast.